This is a video that I should have been spoken on, like as far as a subject matter. And that's basically black people in 2019 still seeking approval from palm colored individuals, whether they actually see what they're doing or not. There was this video that went viral that happened at Disneyland of course, in California, where there was this group of black people that broke out into a fight. Now, based on what I've heard or what I've seen from that video, um, one of the women, it was black men and black women going at it, like literally going at it, like in a physical confrontation in Disneyland of all places. I think that's the only part that really caught people by surprise, is that it happened at Disneyland. And you had one of the women, from what I've heard, what set it off was one of the women spit on one of the guys. First off, that is one of the most disgusting things you could ever do to another human being, especially as a black person. Because when you look through our history and you saw what happened with black people when they were trying to, like, desegregate the schools, and you saw them, images of children walking up to the schools, and you had grown adult white people, especially white women, spitting at and on the child. That is a very disgusting act. That's considered assault and biological warfare, because you don't know what that person might actually have. They could have an illness, they could be sick, but either way, that's a bodily fluid that should stay inside of your body, or it should not have any kind of contact with another human being, especially not on purpose. And then all of a sudden they just got into a fight, and it was a mess. It was a whole mess. Was it embarrassing? Yes, it was. I'm not going to sit here and try to justify anything that happened there. Like, some of you may have already seen that particular video. I almost was about to do a video just speaking on it, but I wanted to talk about something that I've noticed in various comment sections from that video. And not just on that particular video, but on other videos, when videos go viral of black people maybe fighting in public and things of that nature. Yes, we don't like to see those type of videos, but they do exist. I mean, we've seen plenty of videos where you have black people fighting, especially at Chuck E. Cheese. That one right there just seems to be real popular. And it doesn't surprise me. However, what really pisses me off is when I see comments like, see, this is why white people have the leeway to talk shit about us, or this is why other races of people look at us the way that they do, and this, that, and the third. I'm like, they would look at your black ass anyway, regardless if this was existent or not. Do you know where we live? Do you know the establishment we live in? Do you know the history? We were in chattel slavery for 400 plus years, where they did worse to us on a physical front for 400 plus years, and mentally what they did to us. We may be off the plantation, quote unquote, but we're not mentally off of that plantation as of yet. So don't go out there trying to seek the validation of white people or anybody outside of your social construct because of what one group of people happen to do. Because, see, the thing is, they'll look at this as, when they look at one black person, they see one big nigga. When they look at something like that, they'll assume that's how we all are. But I'm not looking for their validation, because guess what? I have done so many commentaries about the debauchery they have been involved with just this year alone. And not once will you ever see a white person say, see, that's why everyone looks at us the way that they do. And even if that's the thought that they have, they'll never let it be known. But we always got to say, oh, now this is why they treat us the way they do. No, that, like I said, they will treat your black ass the way that they will do, regardless of what it is. You could be the best black person in the world. You could be wealthy, and they will still treat you like shit. I don't know why many of you try your damn hardest to get in their good graces all the damn time. I don't get it. But then again, many of you don't know your open enemy, so there's that. Many of you actually probably believe that they are the best thing since sliced bread. I'm like, are you kidding me? Look at what they have done to this planet over and over and over again. Those are the people that you want to seek validation from? Then you got some black folks that want to be on this morality train. When I said that morality thing doesn't work for black people, especially when you're trying to seek morals from people who are not even moral themselves. I will say this. History has shown that we are some of the most moral people on the planet, but where has that gotten us? Everything they told us we had to do and we did it, it somehow advanced them, but it submerged us or kept us stagnant. Truth be told, that whole niggas ain't shit thing, it started with them. A lot of the shit that comes from us, like on the real heavily negative front, comes from them, and it just kind of carried over generation after generation. While they're building generational wealth mainly off of the backs of our ancestors, they've given us generational dysfunction, and that doesn't compound the shit. But I just get sick and tired of seeing those types of comments. I even saw those type of comments under the commentaries about Elijah El Amin, the young boy that got killed by that racist who went up and slit his throat and stabbed him. You even had people saying that, well, if black people didn't kill black people, then white people. I actually saw those comments. People actually brought those type of comments under a video where this racist individual who just got out of jail for 2 days and killed a teenager for allegedly playing his rap music too loud. You had other black people saying that. Now, if you want to talk about black people who are our worst enemies, those individuals who write comments like that, especially under commentaries like those, are our worst enemies, or one of them, because ADOS, we have a plethora, a laundry list of enemies. We don't just have just one. That's why I call them co-colonizing cohorts. It just pisses me off when I see things or comments like that over and over and over again. I'm like, you really actually believe that this situation right here, or various situations where we're seen in a bad light, is the reason why white people think of us the way that they do? You must not know white people that well then, if you think that's the case. But like I said, that again, you're subliminally seeking their validation because you want to look good in their eyes, and quote unquote niggas is making it bad for you. I've even seen people say, we need to purge this and expunge that and get rid of this and get rid of that. Guess what? You can get rid of all of that. But guess what? At the end of the day, they're still going to see your black ass, and that's how they're going to classify you. They're going to still think that you are an element of them. You can throw a suit on you all you want, but they'll still see you as a nigga. They'll just put the word uppity in front of it. And they really don't like those individuals. How many times have you seen black people who are successful get pulled over because they're in a nice neighborhood? How many times have you seen black people get accosted because they may be driving a nice car and they'll assume that you stole it? How many times have you seen them go into their house and then you'll have the guns pulled on you because they think you're trying to break into a house that you pay the mortgage, that you pay your bills in? So it doesn't matter what you do or how many degrees you have or how much is in your bank account. Because at the end of the day, if they see you have dark melanated skin, they will still see you as a nigga. And there ain't no much goddamn validation in the world to change that. But what do I know? Then you have some people that say, oh, I've never experienced racism. That's good for you. You're one out of how many millions of black people that have? And I'm not just talking about this year. I'm talking about over the course of years. That's good for you. Do you want a cookie? You want a gold star? And then they'll start listing down the reasons why they didn't get dealt with. Well, like I said, you're just a party of one out of many who have not been able to be afforded that pleasure of not having to deal with racism. Good for you. I don't know what it is about some of our people in this mindset that they just have to seek open validation from outsiders, especially the ones that hate your guts. Now, I don't know if I'm going to get any pushback on this video or not, but I really don't give a damn. Because like I said, I'm an open opportunity analyst. I cover it all. And when there's fuckery, I'll call that shit out. And that's definitely some fuckery. Like I said, I'm not excusing, me talking about this is not excusing the bad behavior element in our community. Yes, I know it's there. This is not me turning a blind eye to it, but I'm not going to turn a blind eye to people who love to say things like, well, if they didn't act like this, or the reason this is why other people look at us the way that they do. No, they'll look at us this way regardless. And when you don't control your own narrative, when you don't control the media, which is pretty much heavily covered and owned by palm colored, especially those who are Jewish, they will never put out your good image. I could put out 100 good black led stories about entrepreneurship or someone being a hero, and that all will get overshadowed by videos like the one at Disneyland. Because deep down, believe it or not, some people who address stuff like that only do it because they love drama. For the most part, most black people love drama. Then we'll come back around and say, this is why white people don't like us. Well, you helped put it out there. So which is it? Are you trying to bring awareness to a situation, or do you just love drama? It's more the latter. And it is also about what will get you views. Because, we live in an era, in a time where setting trends is, being trendy is just the goals. And social media definitely plays a huge part in that, because that's a catalyst for a lot of the stuff that goes on, like all these silly ass challenges. But don't go out here trying to seek outside validation. Like I said, I could put out 100 good stories and it'll get overshadowed by one of these. And I know it will. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is. Because the world has put out there that there's nothing good that can come from us. After all, in the Constitution, they wrote that black people are 3/5 of a human being. So they have to keep up that narrative that we are less than human. And those type of videos, like what happened at Disneyland or in Chuck E. Cheese, or any type of video where black people are fighting in public or on the street, actually helps push that narrative. The videos that I put out there about black people doing positive and great things, that doesn't fit the narrative, because then that will show them as a whole human. I could go on and on and on, but I think my point has been proven. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this down in the comments. Like, share, subscribe. I'll talk to you in the next one. And one last thing, and I can't believe I almost left this part out, but it just kind of dawned on me, and I have to give a shout out to BGS for actually coining this, I guess you can say, this narrative, this term, because when you think about it, it actually is kind of true. You want to know why a lot of black people have vitriol the way that they do for black people, but probably won't have that same level of vitriol for white people? And I can tell by the types of comments that are left under these type of videos. It's because there are some black people, as a matter of fact, there's a lot of black people who can't shake that little inner white supremacist that lies dormant inside of them. What I mean by that is, you will have more vitriol to say about your own people if they are falling into dysfunction, and not have anything to say about that palm colored supremacist, or very little to say. All you got to do is look at the types of comments that are there, and then look at the ones that are left on those type of videos that I was talking about, and you'll see exactly what I mean. Even if the subject matter has nothing to do with a level of dysfunction, like I talked about with the Elijah El Amin video, people still manage to talk about black on black crime underneath it. That is that little inner white supremacist coming out of them each and every time, and they cannot seem to shake it because it's just there. It's lying dormant in them. Yeah, we know, it was most likely beaten into them, but a few generations down the line, you would think that they would actually be able to separate the two, but they just can't seem to bring themselves to do it. I'm like this. If any black person can fix their mouths to say anything about black on black crime, that is their inner white supremacist coming out of them, because we know that is a narrative that they love to go with in order to justify their racism. And when I talk about their racism, I'm talking about palm colored.